So thank you for joining me. We've got 30 minutes of time completely to ourselves and for our minds, our bodies, and everything else included. So I thought we could start seated, and we'll go into, first of all, some check-ins and some breathing, and then we'll start moving. And obviously, it's important that you remain within your body parameters this morning. I don't know if you were busy last night or out late or anything like that, or if you've got, a busy workload on at the moment. So please just adapt where you feel it's appropriate. I will give options anyway of doing different things because I think that's nice to have options. So if you think sitting is okay for you, just come into a comfortable seat. I like to raise my sit bones. You have probably noticed that there I was fiddling around with a blanket underneath my sit bones. And it's just enough. The reason I have this is just enough to introduce a forward tilt from my pelvis here at the front so that my back is in a neutral position. And neutral is really nice when we're in a yoga sitting position, because then we have, like I've just done it, a good access to our breathing. I've just taken a nice in-breath there because I'm in the right position. Okay, so please just find the same for yourself. If you're laying down, it's pretty much automatic. And you might want to have your knees bent or legs straight if you're laying down. And we'll shut the eyes, or at least drop our gaze. And just let your breath find you. Don't feel you need to go and adjust it or do anything to your breath at the moment. Just get used to sitting or lying and being aware of your body. So when I say being aware of your body, I'm meaning try and just sense what is happening in your body. Mine is currently slightly resisting being comfortable. Probably because I'm teaching. Yeah, there's an element of me not being fully in the practice. But slowly it knows where to go. I don't have to organize it because our bodies do know. They do know how to get comfortable. We just might have some obstacles in the way: stress, anxiety, tiredness, tension. And perhaps notice, is your body trying to change its shape a little bit? For instance, it might be the chin just slightly tilting down so the back of the neck feels long. It might be the tops of your shoulders rolling backwards, creating ease in your shoulders, your neck, your chest. So now we'll come to the breath and see, is there something here that we can alter to our benefit? Not just because I'm saying change it. If it feels good, don't change it. Keep it as it is. So we're just inviting the in-breath and the out-breath to have ease. In and out through your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth. That doesn't mean to say you're going to adopt that breathing throughout the whole of the practice. It's just now. So our breath is our body's really clever way of bringing in ease and comfort, bringing in less stress. And as you're going through the cycles of your breath, just connect with your spine for a moment. Notice how it moves on the inhale and on your exhale. So I like to see in my mind, in a way, the mechanics of my body working when I'm breathing. And you might like to do the same. So when you do breathe, your vertebra are lifting and creating space between each vertebra. It's subtle, or you could really go with it and begin to create an upward curved movement. And then on the exhale, they tend to shrink, get closer towards one another, and that might invite the mid-back to move behind you. So first of all, connect to this on an organic level. You feel it first. And then we begin to exaggerate, lifting your chest up, curving in your back. That would be your inhale. And on your exhale, a slight curve backwards. Now you can do this even if you're laying down. It's just not going to be so exaggerated. And if you are laying down, you can stay there because we're coming down to meet you in a moment. But if you're seated, just follow the breath, follow the movement of the spine, slightly exaggerate. Rolling forwards on your sit bones, lifting your chin. Fall back on the sit bones, drop your chin down. Last two, so take your time. Really feel into this. Exhale. And then just come back to your seat again. Oh yeah, just maybe a little random movement. I'm a rolling the shoulders type of person. So we're going to now move to our next pose. So legs out in front, come down to your elbows, and we're going to stop here. So the first thing we're going to do is create space between the pelvis and the bottom ribs, top of the pelvis and ribs. So the lower back area, basically, which is a problem area for many of us. So your legs, think of them being glued onto the mat, and then just wriggle your body away, upper body away from your lower body, okay? And you might notice, oh yeah, that feels nice and spacious in the lower back. And then we're going to keep that, hold that, adjust your elbows if you need to. And then now we're just going to circle the ankles around one way, and whichever way you want to do that, we'll see, it's really up to you. And then around the other way. And then point and flex. Okay, and still keeping this lower lumbar open. So if it's fallen away, you know, use your elbows, draw them to your hips, but your body up towards your head. Nice. And then from here, we're going to go down all the way onto the ground. So take your time so that you remain with that open, really nice open lower back. Okay, arms down the sides of your body. So even though you might be feeling a stretch here in your torso, in your core, relax with the arms down the sides of the body. You can relax the legs, but still have this upper area of your body very much affected by the way you have planted yourself on the ground. So bend the left knee, put the foot on the ground. Reach the right arm up over your head. And I want this whole right side of your body to get really long here. And notice how your core muscles on the right side have just engaged. So if you're not really feeling that, I'd say reach a little bit more and see if they come online. So from here, what we're going to do is keep that feeling in the core and then bring the right knee in, and your right hand's going to go down the right leg, so ankle or even knee. You don't have to go all the way, but please try and keep the core muscles switched on, yeah? So breathe in, straighten the legs so we can bring everything back online. On the exhale, you're going in and deeper to the core. Inhale, reach. This is 3. 2 more. So this is a really nice way to work your core muscles, but without straining your neck, yeah, which can be a real problem when we come and work with the core. Last time. Okay, reach away, stretch first of all, lengthen your left leg, bring the right arm back. Bend your right knee, right foot on the ground. We'll do this on the other side, obviously. Left arm overhead, reach, feel the core, breathe in. As you exhale, keep the core engaged, and either the hand to the knee, hand to the ankle, breathing out and squeezing a bit more into those core muscles, which means you're shrinking them actually. Yeah, that's where you get the work. 3, 2 more. And notice how your neck is nice and comfortable. This is your last one. 5. Straighten your left leg, straighten your right leg, and then just roll your feet in and out. Okay, and then both knees on the ground. Hopefully you've still got that lower back quite long and unstressed. So we've got options here. We're coming into a lying pigeon pose. And you know, your hips and your back might not be ready for this at this point this morning. So please, you know, you can adapt. I'll give you some ideas. So we're putting the right foot on top of the left thigh. And I do mean on top. So it's the outer edge of your right foot, okay? So that could just be option number 1, okay? If having the left knee where it is too much, just slide the left leg away. It reduces the flexion in the hip joint on the right-hand side. Okay, so if you're all right with the foot on the leg, are you then okay with the left knee coming towards you? And by all means, grab hold of your left leg. So that might mean right hand through your legs, left hand, right hand around the back of the thigh. And this is in the hip, yeah, in the right hip, maybe even in the right buttock. So I like to create movement here, and I'm not rigid about what that is. It can be a rocking, it could be a circling, anything, just movement. So this is so that I can create mobility in my right hip. So everything else I do today will feel quite easy, hopefully. Some of my daily tasks. Okay, and then release the left foot down, straighten the right leg to the end of the mat, right arm overhead, reach, and then bend that right knee, bringing the right hand down. So we'll do this all on the other side. So picking the version that works for you. So if it's just the foot on the thigh, that's fine. And you may want to take the right foot further away. Otherwise, the knee is bent and maybe you can bring it in, and then you use your hands and maybe you want movement. That's it, just finding a little bit of, you're finding a little bit of tension really, and using your breath, using the movement to release the tension. And I think when it doesn't feel good, that's when you're doing too much, and that's when you need to take a different version. Otherwise, I think, the one skill that yogis have is noticing the feelings, and are they okay for you, or, do you need to back off, do something different? Okay, right foot to the ground, straighten your left leg. So you're opening in the front of the left hip, stretching the left arm overhead. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so the feet to the edges of your mat. Just drop your knees in one direction as far as you like, or as little as you like. You could keep this very local. You could keep it in the air. Other side. And begin to bring yourself up onto your elbows, and then switch to the first side. And then to the second side. Up onto your hands. So you'll probably need to have your arms away behind you. Swing to one side and to the other. I feel like I'm walking down my mat. And then that's it. We'll come all the way up and onto hands and knees. So obviously, if you need to pad your knees, put something across the center of your mat. All right, so here we are, cat and cow pose, which is just so nourishing for your spine. Knees roughly hip distance apart, and I like the hands slightly forwards of the shoulders. Think of the wrists as being forwards of the shoulders. And then from here, with a neutral spine, we're going to start to breathe in and draw length. And that means, just like when we were sitting, that the spine curves. Breathe out and take that back in the other direction. Breath in again. So we introduced ourselves to this movement at the very beginning through breath. We brought it in through breath movement. And I guess here we're doing it through a bit more action oriented. Yeah, so there may be more length, there may be more feelings. Okay, one more. Begin to tuck your toes under at the back and take your hips back to your heels. Leave your hands where they are. And then we'll lift into downward facing dog. And, the first one, it's always really nice to do some kind of movement, or maybe you're rocking from side to side, wiggle your tail. Everything is, on the table here. We can do as we wish. Maybe relax your shoulders, nod your head, yes and no. And then come onto your knees and move with your in-breath in that length direction. Out breath, shrink. Breath in again, tucking your toes under. We'll go to downward dog. And then this time, settle into your downward dog. Find comfort here. So that might mean you relax into your shoulders. You could even bend your elbows a little bit, bend your knees. So at the beginning, I was mentioning about visualizing the spine. And here, it's no different. We want space between the vertebrae. We don't want a big dip in the middle, and we don't want a big arch back either. So I really like to bend the knees, push through the heel of my hands a bit to get more length. And there's a lovely response in the core that happens to that movement that you can play with. Okay, so now let's bring the left foot forwards. Keep your right foot where it is at the back of your mat, but bring it forwards a bit so it's closer to the front foot. All right, so I've roughly got them apart sideways as well, but this is not really a leg distance between the feet. Yeah, And then place your hands onto your hips. First of all, just rock forwards and backwards a little bit to find where is the middle place where you are still engaging through the back leg, still engaging through the front leg. By that, I mean that you feel your weight in both legs. It's really quite difficult. And micro movements work really well here. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is fold down with an out breath and just go halfway. If you don't want to go halfway, you do less. Okay, but we're not going all the way down to the ground. But when you go down, the idea is that you remain in both legs. It's so easy to come forwards and use one leg and ignore the other. So we're really trying to fold down both legs, all right? So take a breath in, hands on the hips, breathe out, slow, slow movement as you go down. And you'll notice you have to adjust through the front leg and back leg to find that halfway place. Chin in towards the chest so the neck doesn't crick. And then as you inhale, we're going to come up and release. So switch the legs. You might be pleasantly surprised, or unpleasantly, I don't know, how much this engages your leg muscles. And that's a good thing, yeah? It's because, you know, in some of our yoga poses, many, many muscles turn off. Here, what we're asking is for many of them to be on, all right? So this is why we perhaps want to go slow and do the micro adjusting. So breathe in, lift up, slow release down, breathe out. Adjust your chin, your neck, and then inhale, up you come, pressing through both feet, and then switching your legs around. So probably now it's your understanding, or your body is understanding how it can work. We'll do one more each side, all right? Just think of this as preparing your legs for the rest of the day. So take a breath in, keeping the back nice and straight. Exhale, down through that middle place, adjusting the chin, both legs working, both feet grounded. Inhale, up you come. Step back, switch legs. Last time. Breathe in, down you go. Pause at that halfway place for me. Take a breath in, bend the front knee, bring the hands to the ground. Just step back into downward facing dog as a way of transitioning to your knees. Feet can swing to the side. And then I'm going to cross my legs. Now what position you pick for you is fine, okay? It could be like you might want to lay down. You might be ready to lay down and have a pause for a moment. So we won't be having a shavasana at the end. We're just taking this moment now to connect with our breath, and that will be our shavasana. Okay, so find your seat, find your pose. So drop your gaze first of all. And invite your breath in as if you're reeling it in really slowly. Yeah. And then you're releasing it out at the same pace. So you're doing two things here. You're being aware of your breath, and then you're consciously changing your breath. That slowing in and slow out is where you are consciously changing your breath. So we don't have to do that with a tight grip or massive organization. It's a soft, delicate process. But as you're doing that, I'd really like you to take a look below all of your breath, deeper inside. How does that make you feel when you adjust your breathing, when you watch your breathing? So our breath is the gateway into our nervous system. So if this has made you feel quite relaxed, quite comfortable, I'd take that as a cue that this is working. But remember, your breath is with you 24/7, and this is the most accessible tool you have in your kit to keep you calm, to keep you in control, but in a positive way, not in a rigid way. It's also very nurturing. Okay, so release controlling the breath. Now you're just going to be doing the breath awareness. So you are literally just watching your breath now. So if you feel like laying down, if you're ready to have that kind of pause in your day, fine. Or just stay seated. You're letting your breath do as it wishes. And you're just watching that. You're just looking at it. You're not having to change it. Shut your eyes down if you want. Okay, and from here, just move your head, your neck softly, just a little bit, as a way to bring you back. Still breathing. And then just moving your fingers, maybe rolling your wrists, dropping your gaze, bringing your eyes open. Yeah. Maybe a rubbing of the hands together. Little wriggle of your shoulders. Okay, so we will just close our practice. So breathe in, draw your arms above your head. Hands can come back into your heart space. So give thanks to your body for taking the time out to be here. Give thanks to your breath, your prana, your life force. And I thank you for being here. Namaste.